co-host, Mr. Robert Kennedy. Robert, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. I learned today that I realized today I'm always sad in January.
Just
And
cold
it's
weather.
because there's football. My teams aren't involved anymore. There's only a
you
handful.
Buffalo Bills.
There's only a few games left, and it's cold outside. These are usually the things, though.
These are a few of your not favorite things.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So this is three guys who love sports. We're here to help support guys that are going through mental and physical issues and help take their mind off what they're going through for an hour a week. And if we help them for an hour and you help them for an hour and they help each other for an hour, this world will be a better place. So happy to be here at Miller's as always. You went with the cheeseburger, I heard, Robert.
I did. Switched it way up.
Yeah. What did you do last week?
Same thing you did this week.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The chicken club sandwich or whatever it is.
Chicken BLT.
Chicken BLT or chicken BL in this case.
Yeah, I guess BL.
No tomatoes. Larry, what'd you do?
I went with the Cobb salad.
Yeah, you need a salad, Larry. That's what you need.
You know,
Don't be mean to Larry.
I was going to say something, but, it's always very personal to tell a guy, hey, I think you need to go with a Cobb salad tonight.
Don't be mean to Larry.
Wait till Will gets here.
Larry works very hard to produce this show.
Larry's a tough, hard worker.
Chuck is so
He does
nice.
Very well.
So nice, Chuck.
Absolutely.
And I'd love it if my man Larry started singing during that,
During the theme song?
initial song.
Yeah,
Yeah, if
that
he
would
just
be
started
great.
busting out some lyrics, I'd be good with it.
All right, well, let's get our commercial out of the way and we'll get into the show.
Making preparations for when you're not around anymore is not easy. Nobody likes to think about their own mortality, and we can talk about it next week. Doesn't always fit into the big picture. And that's why you should contact our friend Ron Smith at Senior Life Insurance. Whether you're being buried or cremated, costs keep going up, but you can lock in a price today and take that final expense off your to-do list. Do your loved ones a favor and take care of your final expense so that when your time does come knocking, they won't have to worry about it. If you're age 1 to 85, they have a plan ready for you. So please contact Ron and his team tomorrow at 440-561-0758.
What's that number?
440-561-0758.
Thank you, Ron Smith, for being the sponsor of the three guys who love sports. Happy to be here. We have a first-time guest on. We've been trying to get this guy on the whole 3 years we've been doing this show. And finally,
Some people aren't easy.
Finally, he's back from Tennessee. He's back at Six Flags. Everybody welcome Mr. Greg Fuller. Listen to that crowd, Greg.
The crowd goes
Are they
wild.
happy to see
crowd
you
goes
or
wild.
what?
Yeah, I'm happy to see all them too. All those friendly faces out there.
How's everything at Six Flags?
Fantastic. We shut down for the year January 5th, so
Yeah.
we're in rebuild and rehab mode at the moment. So
Anything new this year?
yes. A lot. We have a new roller coaster. Opens in
Roller coaster.
Opens in March opening weekend, which can be mid-March this year. That's breaking news, by the way.
What's it do?
Haven't told anybody yet. It is it's like a water splash coaster. So it starts, you're on like a giant surfboard, it spins around, and it's our first launch coaster actually at Six Flags. So it's
cool.
a couple ways to get to the top of Lift Hill,
Magnetics?
right? Yep. It shoots you straight across, and you go through a big giant puddle of water, and it's just a good time.
Is it like
gonna
the
be
one
great.
in Disney World where you go from 0 to 60 in about 2 seconds?
Yes. Yep.
I love
top
that one.
speed is like 62 miles an hour.
What
so
the
it's-
Aerosmith roller
Correct, which
coaster?
they're closing that
Oh,
down.
they're
just
rock
Rock
and
and
roll
roller
roller
coaster.
coaster. That's
Yeah.
my favorite
Yeah.
roller coaster in the world. I love that. Yeah.
Yep.
I did the Top Thrill Dragster at Cedar Point. It does 0 to 120 miles an hour in less
Yeah.
than 4 seconds. Same type of
And they
propulsion.
redid it. Now it's T2. So
Well,
now,
and they got
Yep.
rid of that one though.
Yep.
Now you guys are all part of the same family now, aren't you? All bought by the.
We are.
Yeah.
We're all part of Cedar. The old Cedar Fair and the old Six Flags is merged back in July of this year. So it's the Six Flags Entertainment. Now it's the name of the company. And King's Dominion, Carowinds, Kings Island, Six Flags over Georgia, over
Carowinds
Texas.
is Charlotte. Right?
Charlotte,
I
yeah.
did the bungee jump thing at Charlotte.
Okay.
But I did it. All right.
That strikes me as odd.
Did I did that?
Yes.
Well, man, I'm a little bit of a adventure seeker.
Adventure thrill junkie.
Let me
Yeah,
tell you,
thrill junkie.
I was the biggest thrill seeker I've ever met in my life, and every year it just becomes a little less.
I know when I think of
Just
thrill
a little
seekers,
less.
Chuck Burge is the first one that comes to mind.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
There you go.
Hey,
absolutely.
listen, I used to do the Class 5 Rapids up on the Ocoee. I loved it, man.
Okay,
I love
all
that
right.
stuff, yeah.
I stand corrected.
Or sit. Don't stand. Just sit there. All right, let's get into some sports. Obviously, we had the semifinals of the college football season this past weekend. I think Adam's the only one that took Notre Dame.
Go Irish.
I really wanted to take Notre Dame, but it's been very hard for me to do with Ian King sitting next to me, my friend from Penn State.
Sounds like excuses to me.
And then who was the other game?
Ohio State,
Ohio
Texas.
State, yeah, Texas. What a ball game! What a ball game! It's funny. Ohio State had a couple of losses during the season, right? So, when they lost, let's say their first game, I can't remember who their first game was. It wasn't Michigan, was it?
No.
The second game was to Michigan. I can't remember who they lost.
Correct.
Oh, Oregon.
Oregon.
It was Oregon, yeah.
Oregon.
So,
Like 2 points.
Did they
Yeah.
really relax and say, you know what, let's just play and have fun? Is that what helped them? Same thing with Notre Dame. I mean, when they lost to Northern Illinois, they said, well, screw it, we're not going to make the playoffs now. Let's just relax and have a good time. And it obviously helped them both. I mean, they're both wound up, here they are in the finals.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think, I don't know if that's right or not. Chuck, I think, Oregon beat them. It beat them pretty handily, but that Michigan game, they just can't get over that hurdle. Like that was the issue. They just couldn't get past them. They should have won that game. Should have only been a one-loss season, but it is what it is. And I tell you, they look really good right now. Like they look
are hot.
unstoppable.
Yeah.
Like I'm excited. I can't wait for the 20th, ready to watch the game. But I tell you, they look good.
Well,
They
I
look good.
tell you, that was a closer
Best
game
defense.
than the 14-point game. I mean, with Sawyer
Way closer.
returning the
Way closer.
83-yard fumble return, really sealed the deal. But
And the greatest line ever, when he's getting interviewed after the fact, and they said, "What was going through your head?" Just don't fall down like Will did.
yeah,
It was like, bam, bam, bam. But you didn't. And, as you said, Chuck, I think I texted you that night. That game was 14-14, and, we've been arguing for 11 months over what's the best conference and what's not the best conference. And with 10 minutes to go, whoever won that game got to write the narrative.
Yeah.
But, that was a great game. But this Ohio State team, I don't think it's the Oregon game earlier in the year. I think it's definitely that loss to Michigan. But this team hasn't played like this in 10 years.
That's right.
The last
Yep.
time Ohio State was even remotely close to this was when they won the national championship. And I'm not sure that team was close to this team. This team looks so good. The weird thing for me, and once again, this is a playoff bracket now. So this is not rewarding possibly the top 4 teams, when it was only 4 teams getting it. But is there anybody who, and once again, it's one of my teams, Notre Dame. Is there anybody who even possibly thinks they're the second best team that made it to the playoffs?
well, number 7 and number 8 seeds are the ones that are playing for the championship.
Yeah.
And we say
Yeah.
all all bye teams lost.
They're better than Georgia.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Oh, come on.
But
Come on, go Dogs.
I just look at it and wow. I don't think this Notre Dame team. And once again, I'm a fan. I actually have some Notre Dame things. People give me Notre Dame things because
have a
they
Notre Dame
associate
hat.
me with it. I don't think this team could win a 2 out of 3
Yeah.
versus like any of the teams they've already beat. I think if they played all the teams they've already beat 2 more times, they probably lose both those
They
games.
could beat Indiana 3 out of 3.
I don't know that
Probably.
for sure. I don't know that for sure because they don't have any pep on offense. They don't have anybody who scares you here or scares you there.
Well,
They're-
Love has had his moments when
Yeah.
he really
He-
busted
he
out. He had a
has.
200-yard rushing game or something.
he's had a
That
couple
was
moments.
that was
but,
the Indiana game, I think.
there
He's
should,
close to 100 every game.
There
I mean,
should
he's-
always be
he's
a guy
there.
who can run down the field and scares you with their speed. If you're at one of the 10 biggest schools in the country, they really don't have it.
Yeah.
But kudos, you're winning the games that they're telling you to play. So that's all you can do.
Well, and you got to love Marcus Freeman, right? You got to get behind that guy. Like he's energetic. He's he says the right things in the locker room. Like you hear all the clips, all the media, all the sound clips they play it of him. The players clearly love that guy.
Yep.
So you can a coach can rally and can take the team beyond what they're used to. So a good coach will do that. You look at Kirby Smart. You look at some of the best teams out there. That's what those coaches do. And Marcus, he's that guy.
And I completely agree with you, but I will disagree on the fact that the pantry's a lot better when Kirby gives a conversation,
Good point.
they just don't
Yeah.
have a lot of those.
That's right. Yep.
game in and game out guys.
Yeah.
And Greg, we talk about this a lot on the show, but like I said, great to have you here. Get your take.
Yeah,
Do
I
you
appreciate
think,
it.
You think parity has finally hit college football?
Absolutely.
I mean-
how can you argue that, right?
Quarterbacks the starting quarterback from Georgia leaving to go
Yep.
to another school. I mean, it just teams like Indiana built up for 1 year.
Yep.
There are other teams like that, and
Well,
it's-
we
it's-
failed to talk about Arizona State, right? Like
Absolutely,
Arizona
yeah.
State, we were talking about in the recap, but Arizona State went from 3-8, 3-9 to I mean, they were right there. They were so close in that last game. So
Yeah, we talked about that last week. They got screwed a little bit, but that's okay.
a little bit,
Yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's how quickly things can turn around. I mean, you look at a
Absolutely.
team like that, and it's a threat, right? It's a threat to the Georgias and the Alabamas. You already see it. You're seeing it in recruiting classes. You're seeing it in the transfer portal. Like you're already seeing that. Like it's threatening. So yes, parity it's here.
Well, we even talked to Coach Mack about it last week, Jerry Mack from KSU. He said when they introduced him at the basketball game, he said, we're not looking to win down the road. We're looking to win now.
Yeah,
He said,
yeah.
you can make it happen as fast as you want it to happen. So we'll have to see what happens in terms of getting players in here into Kennesaw State. And we can talk about Kennesaw State. We do a show all about Kennesaw State sports at 7 o'clock. But, hey, they're the most local college we have. So right across the street. So we
Yep.
can talk about them some. Yeah.
Absolutely. But, I just I think about like a lot of my friends who are local guys, went to UGA, season ticket holders, they like yelling at the quarterback that they've watched his entire career. It's like you got to pay the piper to lead the team. I'm not sure that's where the future of this is. I think, the question is, Kirby, do you have a guy on your staff who you can pick who you want to use out of the portal? And then the UGA guys are just going to have to get used to, this new guy from Bowling Green who looks like a moron in week 2. Well, that's where you are, though, because I don't know that you're going to have as much time the way you used to bringing a guy along. Well, Gunner's going to be good. Okay, well, how much time does he get?
Yeah. Yeah. In a team like Miami, I mean, we're sitting here going, Carson Beck's gone. Not that big a deal, right? I don't think it is, in my opinion. But
there's a lot of
Miami's-
people who thought so during the Georgia Notre Dame game. But go,
Sure, yeah. But Miami's sitting there licking their chops, right? Like they're like, we can get this guy one year, one shot in the arm if he's healthy.
He's already driving a Lambo, so he's going to fit in
He's
down
gonna fit in right in.
And his girlfriend goes to Miami, too.
That's right.
That's
so
the
a
entire
big plus.
reason he went to Miami. Let's be honest.
Well, there's
He could
4
have-
million other reasons,
He
too.
could have probably gone anywhere else in the country. He went to Miami to be with his girlfriend, and he's going to suck next year. And his draft stock's not going to get any higher because he's a mediocre quarterback.
But if he gets paid $10 million, which is what they say he's going to get paid
Yeah,
this season,
it's more money than he's ever going to make in the NFL.
which is why you do it. And
Yeah.
But yeah, I
You only
don't
get
know.
one shot, man. Do it.
I think the days of no, well, we got a guy, we're going to bring him along. That old expression. How many times have you ever heard a coach just say something about
Sure.
we're going to bring him along?
Yeah.
That's his way of saying, hey, why don't you sit on your hands? You don't scream at me all the whole time. I don't know that those days are going to be around much longer.
Don't step up and block the referees, and don't yell at me.
It's pretty simple stuff, right?
Yeah, it's pretty easy stuff. Yeah, yeah. So and Greg, we've talked about this before on the show a lot. It's even more clear to me this year that preseason polls next year don't mean
Mean nothing.
anything.
Yeah.
Anything.
Yep.
But when you watch something like this, especially with ATI's favorite Indiana, here's a guy who came over from
Hate them.
JMU.
Yeah.
He brought all these people, but that guy's he's graduating, right? The quarterback.
Yeah.
No, he's from Ohio. Rourke is from Ohio. Signetti did bring a lot of people from JMU, yes.
Correct, but he's gone now. Rourke.
Yes.
So my
they
question
got,
is,
they got a transfer from Cal.
But here's a team that's never done anything, and now all of a sudden there's a little bit of limelight. Whether it's well deserved or not, that's a different
Sure.
story for a different day. But what do? Do they start stealing a little basketball NIL money and say, we need a quarterback, we got to keep this going while we can?
Their basketball team needs all the NIL money they can can get.
Oh,
Well, and I think
So bad.
You talk about Signetti, and he said that when he came on. He said we're going to build a winner here. I
Yeah.
mean, he was pretty brash. Nobody listened because nobody really
Believed
felt
it
like
was
that was going to
Indiana.
happen. It's Indiana, right? But he did.
Maybe
And,
that's where Jerry got it from. Coach Mack, he said, "Hey, we're going to build a winner."
Yeah,
You gotta
sure.
love it.
And then back to the original question, back to the age of parity, and the NFL junior, essentially, right? Like it's
I
pretty
like
much like baby NFL. It really is, because you look at the transfer portal rules or lack
free
thereof
agency, that's
rules,
all it
and
is.
it's free agency. And breaking news today on as far as the coaches wanting, if you guys saw that earlier today, the coaches wanting to, I guess they approved this plan to have the January would be the transfer portal time. Did you guys see that today?
a
That
shorter
was
and only one
Only
portal
one,
window
yeah,
instead
yeah.
of two, and it's being spread out.
Yeah,
I
and
think that'll help.
Yeah, and I read where the coaches were, they were like, look, this is uncharted territory. Like, we thought we knew, but you don't know until you live it.
well,
Now,
and there's coaches sitting at a meeting somewhere going, if you don't think Marshall can happen to you,
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
keep thinking
exactly.
that. Just,
Yeah.
just wait, because
Yeah.
it can.
Yeah, because
Yep.
Georgia's got nobody to play right now on August 30th, which is good for us. because-
Georgia doesn't have a quarterback.
Well, we'll see. They'll get somebody in here.
Well,
Yeah,
but
they've got
going
plenty to
going
choose
back
from.
to the age of parity and stuff, I don't know that parity is here because you do have second and third stringers, and those big schools still have better second and third stringers, and because there's so many playoff games now at this point of the year, you're going to see that happening. I know Notre Dame. That's one thing that would always give credit to Notre Dame for, is having good line play
Yeah.
and probably a little depth on the line.
Yep.
Now, whether it's Georgia depth or Ohio State depth, that's a different story, but they've had to use it over the last few games where
Yeah.
this guy's out, this guy's dinged up, and
Do you think they'll change the process of how they selected 12 teams this year?
I do. I think,
oh, yeah. I think the automatic buys are gone.
I think the buys could be there, but they're not going to be because you won
A conference or
Correct.
you're
That's
higher
what
seed.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That's what I meant. Yeah.
And I think there's three conferences on one side, and
Yeah.
the Mountain West and the Big 12 are like, no, we're good.
Yeah.
We think this is a great. Okay, well, just slow your roll, ASU and Boise. We don't think the rest of the world believes that.
All right, well, let's get our Joshua Smith and Brian Bistro commercials in, and we'll move on to picking this weekend's game.
Picking this weekend's game. God, how long has this stuff been going on?
Picking this weekend's game.
Joshua Smith and his wife Tammy are both graduates of Kennesaw State College. He's been practicing law for 24 years, specializing in sports and entertainment law while continuing in criminal defense, civil litigation, juvenile and personal injury law, and he's ready to represent you all the way from your small town to the Supreme Court and any appellate court in between. With all the new rules regarding NIL and cash payments to athletes, they are placing a new emphasis on Kennesaw State University student athletics to help our student athletes better navigate some of the bigger issues that have tripped up so many. Give them a call tomorrow at 706-217-2095.
How can you reach Josh?
You can call him tomorrow at 706-217-2095.
And we thank you, Josh, for being a sponsor of the Three Guys Who Love Sports. There are a lot of places to get your oil changed in the Kennesaw area, but if you're looking for a personal experience, then stop in at Castrol Kennesaw Express Lube or Lost Mountain Express Lube. We'll always do our best to get you in and out quickly, safely, and without a whole lot of fuss. We're a true owner-operated business, and you'll find Brian under a car or hood at one of the shops. We offer experienced, knowledgeable technicians and the latest computer software to help you maintain your new car warranty and keep your pride and joy running for the next 100 miles. We proudly offer
Castrol Products.
All right. So thank you, Brian, as well, for being a sponsor. And we have a game coming to Atlanta Monday night. Wow, that's hard to believe. Like Robert said, it's a little sad.
It is. And I was trying to figure out, it was like, am I just sad because it's cold outside? No, because there's games that are running out, and my teams may or may not be participating in enough of them.
I know.
So what do we got? 8 points? Is that the spread?
I saw
It's
8.5.
been going up. It's been going up.
8.5? 9.5.
9.5.
I think it opened at 9.5 and then went down to 8. Now it's back up to 9.5.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It has moved.
Yeah.
It has moved.
what's-
And have you seen the get-in price for that game?
No,
It's
but
like 12.
Four.
Is it
I
400?
saw
just to get in?
450.
Yeah, I saw good
For
like 1250.
nosebleeds.
Yeah.
well, Ian
yeah.
had tickets. Ian King had 4 tickets, and a
Nice.
friend of mine that used to
Selling them for 10
used to
grand.
be here
Yeah.
involved at Kennesaw Business. I said, did you know Sue Spinos? She managed Top Zone. Well, no, Sky Zone.
Topgolf.
Scott.
Sky Zone.
Sky Zone?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
trampoline park. So she said, Chuck, do you know anybody with tickets? Because she's a big Ohio State. Ian had like row 13. Yeah, Ian paid $8,700 for 4 tickets.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's commitment.
Yeah. So he sold them. He sold them today or yesterday.
I got the,
for $4,500 for a pair. So he made $300 off
Made
the
a
deal.
little money. Yeah.
I saw the post from his wife where she's like, "Yeah, I got 4 tickets, $10,000."
Yeah.
I was like, "Dang!" She said that pretty confidently.
Yeah. Well, I called Ian and said, "How low will you come?" He said, "We won't come any lower than 9 because we paid $87 for them."
Wow.
But I like it. I think it was like $500 per ticket, taxes and fees and all that stuff.
Well, I remember when the Mercedes-Benz was originally built, and this game was was one of the very first games being held in the stadium. And to have the ticket, you had to have season tickets to the Falcons and something. So they
Well,
To
they
have
get
access to
first. They get first dibs.
well, right, but they didn't have anybody else to sell it to at that
Yeah,
point.
yeah.
So it just one of those things where they're just driving up those
'cause,
prices.
Yeah.
My uncle has tickets to the Falcons, and he had the option to buy tickets.
Okay. Yeah.
And the opening line on that game was 9.5 with an over/under of 45.5. I like to do screenshots for that reasoning. How much has this thing moved?
So how much would you pay to go see a championship game? If one of your
it
teams
was
was
your
in
team.
it.
My team, it wouldn't be in Atlanta because that would be boring to me as far as,
Sure.
whatever have you. I don't have any money, Chuck. I'm out here painting a house in Paulding County an hour ago. So, when am I ready to spend $3,000 to go watch a game? No. I'd love to go spend $3,000 and enjoy a city and do some other stuff. But, yeah, I don't know.
The $135 I paid to go see the Falcons play in Green Bay was the most money I've ever
Yeah.
spent for a football ticket.
Yeah, I'm pretty easy. I'm just as happy to come to Miller's Ale House, and they're a shameless
Look at that
plug
plug.
there. Look,
You
just
gotta
as
love
happy to
that.
sit at the bar at Miller's Ale House and watch a game.
Hang out with Sean.
Yeah, absolutely. Like that's I'm not spending $4,000 or $5,000.
I got
No.
something else I could do with that money.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Not to mention the fact, and it's the easiest, lowest hanging fruit. You get to use your own bathroom or a bathroom in here.
That's right.
You get to watch the
Not only
game.
that, you could pause it if you have to go
watch
see-
the replay. Watch the replay.
The
all
service
the
is
things
great.
that
The people are
never-
friendly. Yeah.
I've enjoyed.
Did I send this text message? It just says it might have gone through.
I've never used the DVR or whatever you call it as much as I have this year, and I've found out that I really, really like it.
Do they still use the term DVR, Chuck?
I don't know.
Hey, it's new to him. It's new to
I've
him.
never used an ATM, so I'm very much old school.
Chuck just
so-
got Bluetooth technology. He's just got DivX technology
I
on
don't
his
even know that I have
on
that.
his. Was it the laser disc? He just got a new laser disc player last week.
Yeah, I still do have DVDs. I still got 2,000 CDs, so I don't know.
I still have a VCR in my house.
VCR, yeah.
Yeah,
Got
but
one in the
that's because of that old tape that's sitting in your closet. Bow,
Oh, I
bow,
can-
wow.
I can play Super 8.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Oh,
Yeah, I would. Saying I'm old school would be an understatement.
I thought about
There's
paying
nothing wrong with that.
$2,000 to go to a national championship game last year when Purdue was in the Final Four, and I couldn't bring myself to do it.
yeah. It's different when you're my age. I got 4 kids, house, 2 dogs, cars. It's just priorities, right?
Yeah.
Right. And I did get to go to those games last year, and my uncle bought all the tickets. And that was
Very
very.
went to the.
Yeah, go get you a
Caitlin
rich
Clark.
uncle. That'll work.
And so yeah, I mean, I got to go to Sweet 16 in the Elite 8 women's games, and it was phenomenal. I'm really glad he spent whatever he spent for me to be there. But
All right. So that being said, who do we have this weekend? Greg, who do you like in the game?
Ohio State, OH. Yep. I'm sorry.
IO.
OH.
IO.
yeah,
There we go.
Yeah.
No, we have no fans here.
cut some microphones around here, scissors.
Yeah, I just don't think. And Robert brought it up earlier. I just don't think Notre Dame has the depth and the dogs to keep up. It might be a close game first quarter. I think going into half, it might be. I think we're all going to be thinking, well, this is close. But I think come third quarter, I think they're just going to put the foot on the gas, and I think it's over. I just don't think. And they've got a lot of injuries that Notre Dame
They
does
do
to
have
deal
some
with.
injuries,
They still
yeah.
have a lot of injuries. Like, I just don't think they have the depth to be able to keep up.
Well, Texas, the one thing they did do, they slowed down Jeremiah Smith.
Yeah,
he
sure.
had one catch for 3 yards, and that's all he did. So maybe that
still
was
lost.
a blueprint for what they did.
Sure,
Yeah,
yeah.
but again, that game was so close.
Yeah.
I mean, a last-minute 83-yard scoop and score.
It-
Chris Fowler had such a great call of that play. I think it's going to be closer. I mean, I think Ohio State's going to win, but I think Notre Dame's going to give them a game. They have to be very well balanced. I was listening to Buck Bellew yesterday, and I'm not a big dog fan, as everybody knows, but I do like Buck Bellew. I really enjoy his show, no matter how he likes to talk. And then he'll wait a second. And then I'm going to tell you.
I love Buck. Buck's great.
Buck's a good dude. So I'm going to take Notre Dame in the points. I especially if it's 9.5. Something weird can happen. I think Notre Dame can win this game.
Yeah.
If Raleigh has a great game, if they run the ball, now Penn State didn't have one completed pass to anybody that wasn't a back.
A running back.
Yeah. No wide receiver.
Or a tight end.
So Notre Dame's got to have a
Tyler
little
Warren
bit
caught
more
some
better
passes.
balance to be able to beat these guys, but I think it's possible.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be I think it's going to be an entertaining game.
Yeah, I
really
think
do.
so too. I don't disagree. I just think, again, I go back to my point. I just don't think they have the depth. I think the injuries are
agree.
going to. I think they're just too beat up. And Ohio State, for the most part, as far as I know, I think they're mostly healthy. I think they're bringing their A game, they're bringing their A team, and Notre Dame, they're just not. Now I go back to what I mentioned about Marcus Freeman earlier. Could he be some sort of wild card for him, right? Could he be the motivational, going to halftime if it's 17-10 at half or something like that? Can he be the difference maker? I just don't know. Yeah, I just think it comes down to the men on the field and the trenches, and I just don't know they have enough.
I agree with you. I don't think either coach will have the deciding input on this game. Notre Dame, I've been underestimating them, and once again, they're here. There's a reason why they're here.
Sure, yeah.
That being said,
13 straight wins.
Chuck, you mentioned possible blueprint. Well, guess what? They don't have a corner going in the top 12 picks in the NFL draft. So they don't have – you can look at what Texas did. We don't have any of those players. So, Notre Dame's not going to be able to shut them down. And if they did – where Egbuka went kind of off in that last game, man, he would go way off against this team. So, yeah, I'll take Ohio State in the points. I'll be praying Notre Dame. I don't want a Notre Dame cover. I just want Notre Dame to win the game, but it won't happen.
What do you think on the over/under? What do you think? Would you say 45.5?
Over.
I really don't.
Over.
I really don't see how much Notre Dame's going to score. I think this game, if you look at the over/under, they're probably saying it's going to be 25-15 or something like that. I think it's going to be more like 31-7 or something like that. So you can still get an under with a beat down.
My projection: 10-10 at the half, 24-10 final. I just think they're going to, and I'm just pulling those numbers out of
Let me
the air,
say
right?
this.
But
If Ryan Day loses, does he lose his job at Ohio State?
no.
Even though he can't beat
No.
Michigan, you think he's
I mean,
still there?
Not after these last couple games.
No, I mean, anything can happen, right? But that would
you
be
don't
the
lose
most
your job
insane.
after going to the national championship.
You're not going to the Natty. No, win or lose, he's safe. Now, had he not gotten to this point,
Oh, absolutely. If Tennessee comes to town and walks
you lose
through
that
them,
game, he's done.
or if this game was against Michigan and they lost.
Yeah.
Either one of those things,
He'd
yes.
never show his face again anyway.
He could be in big
That's a
trouble,
different
but,
story.
All right,
Different
Adam, how
ballgame.
about you?
Well, I'm 2-0 in the playoffs picking Notre Dame. My family's from northern Indiana. I love Jeremiah Love and Riley Leonard. I'm picking the Irish to win outright.
Good for you. I hope you're right.
Good. I go for it.
I do too. I mean,
I just hope I want a good game. I want a
Yeah.
good.
That's right.
So we've gotten a
entertaining-
couple good games.
I don't
and
want a
I don't know
Georgia
how many more there
TCU
are.
game.
Yeah. What,
That-
63-7 or whatever that was?
no
Yeah.
fun to watch.
Terrible.
63-14.
All right. All right, let's get our brain
double
train
digits.
commercial out of the way. We'll talk some pro football.
Hey, it's Melissa at Brain Train Centers, the fastest growing neurofeedback provider in the world, and I have some pretty important questions for you. Do you or someone you know struggle with focus and attention? Sleep, memory, or other mood issues? Or maybe you just want to achieve more in high-pressure situations. Well, what if I told you you can unlock your brain's full potential and change your life entirely through neurofeedback, a drug-free and natural approach to negative moods, and it's backed by more than 50 years of research, so it's not new. It is safe for both children and adults as you retrain the brain to create new pathways. Medication may help short-term, but they don't address the underlying issues. Just as push-ups help your physical strength, neurofeedback is personal training for your brain. With over 20 offices nationwide, don't hesitate to reach out to Brain Train Centers, as we will provide you with the highest level of compassionate care and help you achieve the mental clarity, performance, and calm you deserve. Your journey to a better quality of life starts with a brain map. Now you can retrain your brain and reset your life. So just call or text 470-291-2778 or visit braintraincentersinc.com.
For sponsoring Three Guys Who Love Sports. We're here with me and Robert and our good friend, Mr. Greg Fuller. Greg's been in our Fantasy Football League 2 of the 3 years because 1 year he moved away. But thank God he came home, came to his senses, and came back to Georgia.
Yeah, I enjoyed my time in East Tennessee. Lived in Gatlinburg for a little while, about almost 10 months, and became a. You have to be a UT fan up there because there's just no other sports. It's the Tennessee Smokies or UT athletics. That's it. Like that's all that's up there. So that was being a city boy from Atlanta, from Georgia. Man, that was a huge adjustment.
So we had the wild card weekend, and in the NFC, or was it the AFC? It went 1, 2, 3, 4. We went 1, 2, 3, 4.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah.
That was the AFC.
The AFC. So everybody that was the top 4 won. In terms of seeding, not in terms of favorites, because I think I was the only one that picked Houston.
Yeah,
to win.
Okay. Dog.
Yeah, and that was a good game. Houston played some defense, and they're going to be good no matter who they play against. I was very impressed with Houston.
One of 2 good games this weekend.
I can now pick somebody different other than Green Bay to win now that they're out. But they were my original pick at the beginning of the year. So now I can move on from that.
I never saw that coming. I thought that was going to take you to the promised land.
I did too. I was convinced.
Who did you pick first 2 weeks?
Probably Buffalo.
Yeah.
And versus the Falcons. I don't know.
Yeah. I've been pulling Chiefs the whole way.
Yeah.
I just want to see the three-peat. I'm not a big Chiefs fan.
It would be cool to see that. But I mean, now that the Falcons
I'm bored of the
out,
Chiefs.
But now that the Packers are gone.
I get that. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, but any interest in the pass? The coolest play in the Buffalo-Denver game was the fake punt that Denver ran. That was a really cool play. Didn't help them any, but it was a fun play.
It did not.
Buffalo looked good. I
Buffalo
did hear
look
about
good.
their new stadium. No roof, but they've got this heated field now. So that really sucks because now we're not going to see any true snow football.
But they're still outside.
Yeah, they're outside, but the snow will melt by the time it hits. So
It takes care of the grass. Wait, are they grass or turf?
They're grass.
It's got to be
Yeah,
grass.
well, at least the grass is heated.
Got to be
At least the-
grass if it's
At
heated.
least the grass is warm. Nobody else is.
Warm grass. Yeah.
of show is this?
Baltimore, Buffalo is probably going to be the best game this weekend, and we'll talk about that in the next segment. Oh, what was the worst game? Was it Green Bay?
Probably, because you just didn't think they were ever in it.
Could have been the Vikings.
Yeah, with the very first play.
Vikings were never in
And
it.
I thought
Terrible.
the Packers got screwed on that first play. Did you watch the game? So they received it,
Yes.
and the guy
Yes.
fumbled the ball. He was laying on his back, and he had the ball in his hands. But then everybody piled on, and they took it away from him, and they gave it to Philadelphia. I thought that was clear that he had
Clear
possession of the
possession.
ball. Clear possession, and I thought it should have been Green Bay's ball. But bad call, not a bad call. Philly looked better than Green Bay.
Absolutely, absolutely. This Philly team looks like the one that went to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, not the one that started
Tanked
10-1 last year.
Yeah.
Man, I hate the Eagles.
I don't see why you'd like them. But props to the Strouds. The Strouds.
The Strouds played well.
Everybody's. That team's looked like garbage for the last 2.5 months, and there is something to be said about having a home game, even if you're the Rams and they take your home. They say, well, you got to go to another state. You see what happened to the Vikings. Vikings were playing for everything in the world 2 weeks ago. 0-2 in this year, and you're done.
Yeah, but who else thought? I mean, didn't you think a little bit Sam Darnold was going to Sam Darnold at some point?
And I'm not. I agree with you 100%. But 14-2, gone.
And got sacked 9 times. Wow.
Yeah.
That tied a record. Yeah. Yeah.
He just looked uncomfortable the entire game. Like he just didn't. He didn't look like he belonged, and that was hard. It was painful to watch.
He looked like the guy in the Jets uniform.
And then we had our doink to the division championship, to the divisional round.
Yeah,
in
sure.
Tampa
Commanders.
Bay. That was hilarious.
Mr. Gonzalez, I don't know that I've ever seen one doinked from that close.
Yeah,
because that was close.
37 yards.
The Bears kick was pretty close.
Yeah, but
the double doink.
Yeah, the double. I don't think you could get a double doink from
At
that
37
close.
yards.
I don't know.
But either way, when they lined it up, it was like, okay, it was like, oh.
Is that 3 of the last 4 weeks that Jaden Daniels has led a game-winning drive? Eagles, Falcons,
Yeah.
The last 5
Bucks.
The last 5 Commanders games were won by less, but were won on the final play.
Yeah.
And I still really don't think he's got a ton to work with. I think free
got
agency.
Jamison Crowder.
Exactly my point.
You got Terry McLaurin. Terry's a fine running
Scary
back.
Terry's good.
Scary Terry, and maybe Robinson, if he doesn't shoot himself, is okay. But he's not great. He's
He
not
hasn't
top
shot
15.
himself in a long time.
No, it's been over a year and a half.
While,
But we'll see. We'll see
Yeah.
what happens. But that is a scary team with him at the helm.
I think the question for me, it goes back to kind of my college question, right? Do they have the depth? Are they 1 or 2 injuries away? Because I don't wish anything on anyone, right? But anything can happen in a game, especially this time of the year. Do they have the depth to be able to overcome something if something were to happen? I just don't know that the Commanders do. I think they're really thin on both sides of the ball as far as depth goes.
Well, we'll make our predictions on those games in a bit. Let's talk a little bit about the coaching carousel. I guess there's 6 jobs open, and the biggest one is
Mike
probably the
McCarthy is
Cowboys.
out. No more Mike McCarthy.
Shocker!
Do
I
you
didn't see that
think-
coming.
Listen, I don't hate Mike McCarthy. If he had been the coach another year, I would have been okay with it. I just pray that we don't hire Dion.
Dion
If
said
we
he didn't
hire
want-
Dion,
Dion said
baby.
he didn't want the job.
if we hire Dion, I will be a Ravens
Definitely
fan.
said that.
Yeah, he said today.
Okay.
He said that I'm happy in Colorado.
Yeah, he
Good.
should be.
Yeah. He said.
There's a lot of people that say they're happy a lot of
He
places.
says Boulder's great.
That probably means
He
he's
A lot of
said
people are
going
happy in
somewhere.
Colorado for other reasons than some
No,
pharmaceutical
I think
ones.
he'll stay there. I saw an interview with him, and the president or something said that for the first time in Colorado history, the last 3 semesters, all the players' grade point averages were going up. They're all over 3 now. They're average over 3. He just seems to be pretty happy there. I heard this story. Dan Reeves, when he signed as a consultant with the Cowboys, one of Jerry Jones' assistants came to him and said, "Let me show you something," and it was a time clock. And he said, "Mr. Jones wants to know when you're in the facility. He wants you to punch in and punch out." Dan Reeves walked around and said, "I'll never work for the Cowboys."
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't trust me enough to think I'm going to put in the work, why the hell did you hire me? It's basically what it boils down to.
And Jerry's not changing, right? Like he's
No,
not
no.
hiring a GM.
Actually,
he's not,
Who wants to put
technically-
up with that?
yeah.
Technically, when you get around 85-year-old men, which I have a little knowledge about this. Love you, Dad. They do change, but they're not changing in the way you'd like them to
Sure,
change.
yeah.
So Arthur Blank,
can't
Mr.
wait till
Kraft,
Jerry dies.
Cher, all of these guys are probably getting even more so crazy.
Yeah.
And all I can say to any
When
Cowboy
Jerry
fans
dies,
gets excited.
I might throw a
Be
party.
careful what you wish for.
So which job out there is the most attractive in terms of the 6 open teams?
What are the 6
gosh.
open teams?
Yeah, let's go through those real quick.
See, Jacksonville,
Yep.
Chicago, Dallas, Jets, Giants,
and Raiders.
and Raiders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Bears.
I'd say the Raiders because they're in Vegas and they don't have a lot of money already spent.
Wait, Giants aren't
That's
open.
true.
Giants are open.
No, who's the other one? I thought it was the Giants.
I think the Raiders have $70 million in cap
And I
space.
didn't
If I
even
saw
know.
that,
Yeah. And I don't even know what it is. I just know they have
think I
no
saw
big
that today.
players, so they should have tons of money.
yeah,
They have Aiden O'Connell as their quarterback. They're set at quarterback.
and I think they have like
Golden.
8 draft picks. They have 8 draft picks, 6 or 8 draft picks plus $70 million. And I like they're set up. To me,
New
I think
Orleans is the other
New
one.
Orleans is the other.
That's
one.
the
Yeah,
other one.
yeah, they are cash strapped. Like they are. That is not the ideal situation.
No, they've been stealing from next year
Yeah.
for the last 10
10
years.
years.
and they're old.
Correct.
Cam
Yeah.
Jordan's old. Alvin
Yeah.
Kamara's old.
Yeah.
Outside of
Outside of
Vegas, which has
Chris
nothing
Olave.
except for money,
Yeah.
you'd want to give the nod to Jacksonville and say, you got Sunshine and
Sure.
Etienne, but nothing there seems to be working.
Sunshine.
And here, what is that?
I wanna go
He's
to Chicago.
Has he had 2 years or 3 years?
Chicago's
Caleb
that's a good
Caleb
call.
Williams is a guy that you can mold into your prototype quarterback. You've got some weapons with Keenan Allen.
I agree with that.
You've got a
Problem is
good
that they
running back
spent
room.
All
Can't argue
their
that.
money
That's
already.
true.
So you're going to have to completely rip down that roster to figure out where you're starting to spend new money at. I think that's a long
I think-
process. But he did look
Yes.
good. He did look good.
I think you kill the roster, start again with build around Caleb Williams and Keenan Allen.
We know you've been trading away the number 1 overall pick for years. You finally used it, but now we need to kill your entire roster.
Boy, wasn't Brent mad last year about New England giving away the number 1 pick?
Well,
man, he was peeved.
I just don't know. There's a lot of unattractive things. Once again, Giants probably not that unattractive. Not a lot of.
But
not
Giants
a lot.
aren't open. I
Giants
was wrong
aren't
about
open.
that.
Oh, okay.
Dayball's still there.
Dayball's still there. It was
they-
it was New Orleans is the
When
New
the
Orleans.
Patriots were open, I'd want to go to New England.
No, because of Kraft.
Well, they got
Kraft,
Vrabel.
Kraft is
Yeah.
like.
But
He's
you've
not
got
as bad as
some
Jones,
great defensive backs. You got Christian Gonzalez, who's in his second year in the league, looked great as a corner. You've got
your
some
quarterback?
good. Your quarterback's
Milton?
Drake May or Joe Milton.
It's Drake May.
I mean, it's
Milton.
probably Drake May, but I think you have to throw Joe Milton out there, let him throw some passes, see how he fits in the
on
offense.
a side note, since we're
Yes.
talking about it, does anybody think Vrabel will be successful? Chuck.
Do I think Vrabel will be successful? He'll be more successful than Mayo was.
Well, he'll be there
Well,
longer
that's
than
not
Mayo.
much of a stretch.
He was
Exactly, that's right.
Vrabel was good
Safe
in
call, Chuck.
Tennessee
Safe call.
with Ryan
Yeah.
Tannehill. He did have Derrick Henry.
That's
he was
it.
carried by Derrick Henry.
Now,
I think if he can get a good offense in place, I think he'll be okay in New England.
I think Vrabel will be fine. Yeah, I think he'll be. Now, define successful. What is that? Is that back to the Super Bowl?
Does he have
or?
a job in 4 years?
Brady years.
Yes.
I don't think he has a job in 4 years. I don't
Yeah.
think that roster looks good. I
Yeah.
don't think he's the guy to put everybody where they need to be.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of that prediction, what was your bad prediction this year? I had several, but obviously picking the Packers to win the Super Bowl was the worst. But I think my worst prediction was I said that Derrick Henry would go to Baltimore and flop. I thought he was out of uses. I thought he had carried more than he could carry, and he definitely proved me wrong. So I think that's my biggest missed prediction.
Well, and I'll go running back as well. Saquon, I didn't think Saquon was good the last couple of years he was in the New York, and the guy is phenomenal. But isn't it interesting that all the old running backs, how good they were this year?
Yeah.
Mixon had
Yeah.
a new team, Henry
Yeah.
with a new team, Saquon with a new team, and there's another one. Who's the other guy who's in the playoffs right now? Who came
Josh
from
Jacobs.
Josh
Josh
Jacobs.
Jacobs. Yep.
There's all sorts of
He's
people.
not in the playoffs right
Not
now.
anymore.
No,
Yeah.
no, they
But
lost.
he was
Player wise, the one I was wrong about was Bo Nix. So I just didn't think Bo Nix was gonna like
You, me, and everybody but his grandma.
Jeez, man, I just I did not think that was going to work out. So player wise, I really missed on that one. Team wise, I missed. Like a lot of people probably being a homer, I missed on the Falcons. I had them at 12-5, 11-6.
I had
like,
11-6.
I felt like that. When I looked at the roster, I know you can't predict it early. You can't predict that early in the year, but there's no way that team should have finished where they finished.
All
Like
the
it-
misses they've had, Greg. Do you think
Yeah.
Fontenot should still be there?
Oh, we're moving on to the next one.
Well, you kind of brought it up.
Yeah, no, that's fair. I
Well, I know you're a big
yes.
Falcons fan.
Yeah, I think he needs. Now, I could argue either way, but I think this team needs stability. I think we need coaching stability. We need now. We just fired the DC, and we're going to hire a new DC, but we need some.
We're not going to have any stability. This is the Falcons.
Defensive coordinator was
The
not
sky
your
is
problem.
falling.
This-
Yeah, Buck Bellew said yesterday, he said, I'm about to give up as the Falcons being my
yeah.
team.
I think Fontenot will keep his job if he nails a couple things right, if he gets the draft right. Now, his drafts have not been good. Like, that's really.
He got
been-
Penix.
He did get Penix, and he gave,
We saw
Cousins
Penix. Penix looked
$100
good.
million, right? So, good decision, bad decision, but, shoulda, coulda, woulda, right? Like, nobody has a crystal ball. I think his job is safe for now. I think he's got a year. Like, if they finish 8-9 again next year, he's done.
If they
Like
pick another tight end at 15,
well, you
Or
got
a
to trade
running back
picks.
or a wide
Yeah.
receiver,
Yeah.
they got to do something, yeah.
Fontenot is on a short
Yeah.
a short
Leash.
leash.
Agreed. Yeah.
His seat is definitely warm, but I do believe he will at least start the year. Or more important for Falcons fans, I think he's going to pick 7 rounds of a draft for you.
I hate it that on our draft show we
But
don't
we're
get the
short.
picks for the Falcons this year.
We're short on picks,
top
though.
10,
We've
yeah.
only got like 5 picks, I believe.
Correct.
We lost the 5th because of tampering, and we traded the 3rd away. So I think
Didn't we get one
You
back
tampered for
from
a
Calvin
quarterback
Ridley?
who only started half the year.
he tampered on us. Like he told on himself.
Didn't we get one from Calvin Ridley, though?
I thought
That was
I
last
thought
year.
that was
That
a
was last
was
year.
that a
Last year?
5th round last year?
I
That
think
was
we
our
got it
fourth
up to a
round.
3rd.
Okay.
I think he got up to
I
a
think
3rd.
Fontenot keeps his job. I'm not sure about firing the defensive coordinator. I watched the defense. The defense wasn't great, but
They got no players.
the defense also didn't have anything to do with Raheem Morris not calling timeouts in the Commanders game.
Yeah.
So I don't know that it's a DC issue for the Falcons. Raheem's going to make coaching changes, try and get better. We'll see if it works. I think you have to go defense in the draft if you're Fontenot. You have to go corner. You have to go D line.
don't-
have to.
You need an edge rusher. I don't think he's gonna do that, but that's what he needs to do.
I don't know that there's a way he can be the GM for the Atlanta Falcons when we kick off the regular season if he doesn't go defense first round. I
Yeah.
think the only way he can lose his job between now and then is when he says offensive anything.
Yes.
And, and I'd be
Unless
okay with a big
if you
ugly.
go
Pick
if you
another
go O line,
quarterback.
if you go O line, I'll take O line.
The only thing I'm 100% certain about is he will not pick a quarterback this year. I think that's
No.
about it.
Correct.
I think that's the only thing you can say is not going to happen.
I think you have to. I think you have to
Oh,
go
no,
line.
but
I think you have
you
to.
said that last year, I bet, too.
I
Just
know,
a lot of,
well,
everybody did.
I was sitting at
Just
home.
remember, this is the Falcons.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's when I remember where I was. I remember my reaction. I remember jumping up in the living room going, freaking Penix, are you kidding me? We picked a quarterback?
I was texting Robert. I said something bad's about to happen, and that's what it was. All right, let's do our American Access commercial, and then we'll move on to some picks for this weekend.
I just remember before that draft and we were talking about it, and I said we could go wide receiver, and everybody's like, wide receiver? Okay, we'll go quarterback. Another one. Tired of going to the same old places for the same old thing? American Access has your solution. Whether you're looking for something new to do before or after the game, the most memorable workouting ever, or just wanting to take something else off your bucket list, American Access in their 3.5 Atlanta locations in Marietta, Tucker, downtown at the Works, and the uber cool new mobile access experience that can be set up wherever you need. Keep an eye out for them at upcoming events and festivals, and give them a call at 678-763-3635.
I missed that number. What was it?
You can look them up online at American Access or give them a call at 678-763-3635 to schedule your next adventure.
And thank you, Dan Fisher, for being a sponsor. Don't forget to join us at 7 o'clock tonight. We have
Hooty-hoo.
Coach Kel McDaniel from the track team and Maya Steins, another thrower from there. So if you're in the Miller L House, Kennesaw area, come on out and join us. All right, it's time to make our picks for the this is divisional weekend, right?
This is divisional.
Yes.
All right, 8 teams left. Next time we beat, it'll be 4. Houston plus 7.5 at Kansas City. When's the last time Kansas City played a meaningful game? 6 weeks?
Been a while.
Yeah.
Probably
Been
the
at
Buffalo
least
game that they
4.
lost.
December 22nd is the last time their starters have played, right?
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
Yeah. So is that going to hurt them?
I still take Kansas City.
Do you?
So, yeah, I still take Kansas City. I think it'll be a good game. I think Houston proved themselves a little bit last week.
So-
I think everybody was down on them, but
But you'll start Kansas City laying the points, right?
yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, they did play this team 3 weeks ago. So always interesting when you get those back-to-back matchups. They scare me personally when my team won the first game. You know, so in this particular case, they were at home. So Houston's used to the hotel. They were just there in the last month, so nothing
fair.
weird about all that. They lost the game 27-19, and once again, I don't see where that can benefit the Chiefs. I'll take the points because I'm hopeful somebody else wins the Super Bowl.
That's not a bad. What's the weather supposed to be? Do we know yet?
Cold.
I know it's going to be cold.
I'll look that one up right now.
I'm going to take Houston in the points. I think Kansas City will win by a field goal. I think being off that long, they're going to be a little rusty, but they'll get back into it. I think he had his third daughter. Isn't that what he had?
Patrick?
Mahomes. They had a kid this week. He'll be tired.
Yeah.
Changing diapers.
The high on Saturday is 25.
Beautiful. Snow.
Nope.
Bummer.
You really think Pat Mahomes changes diapers? No, I don't
Patrick
think so.
Mahomes pays somebody to change diapers.
Yeah,
I think
exactly.
Jake
Let's
from
be
State
He
honest.
wraps
Farm.
them in $100 bills.
Hey, Jake from State Farm.
It's Jay from
Hey,
State
Jay.
Farm.
Clean my kid's butt.
Or Andy Reid might even be coming in and change a few
Could
diapers.
be.
Yeah.
How about
All right.
those nuggies?
Yeah. Oh, geez. Yeah, I'm going to take Houston in the points as well. Adam?
I hate the Chiefs so much. Like, so much. I hated them after they won this first Super Bowl. They've won 3 of the last 4. I hate the Chiefs. They're going to win the game. Houston scores first. Chiefs win.
All right.
All right, 2-2.
Hey, just on a quick note, since you just kind of went there and it made me think about it. What is today the anniversary of? Besides Sully Sullenberger landing a plane in the middle of a waterway.
Super Bowl 3?
1.
Super Bowl 1.
Super Bowl
wow.
1.
Did not know that.
This is the anniversary.
That's cool.
And Larry, my producer, my sports crack.
Wait, he's not my producer, too?
No.
Oh, okay.
That's my man, Larry. My man, Larry. Where was that Super Bowl played at?
I know.
Tulane Stadium.
That is correct.
Yeah, exactly. Larry's a Tulane grad, so.
Oh, okay.
Yep. All
yeah,
right. Who
pretty
won
well.
that? Oh, it was the Chiefs.
It was Packers
and
Chiefs.
Packers won the first 2.
Yep. All right. Game number 2, the Commanders, Redskins, whatever you want to call them, +10 at Detroit. Montgomery's back, right?
Have we seen him? You know, I don't know that. Has anybody? Are they saying, "Wow, he looks unbelievable in practice"? Or are we just thinking he's coming back? Because that's a brutal injury that they've been throwing out. Yeah, he'll be fine. Don't worry about it. I need to see number 5 in that game. I think if 5 plays, they win and they cover. I think if 5 doesn't play meaningful time, then they do not cover. They probably win the game regardless, but they will not cover.
Yeah,
That's my guess.
Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I think Detroit's going to win. I don't think they cover. So I'll take the Commanders in the points.
Commanders
on
in
that
the
one.
points?
Yeah.
This could be the year that Detroit finally makes the Super Bowl. On one of 4
Could
teams
be.
that have never been to the Super Bowl.
I mean, you can't. You got to pull for Dan Campbell, right? Like you've got I go either way with this. But I think the
Campbell.
line's steep there. I think 10 points is going to be.
10 is a lot.
I think that's gonna be tough.
I'm going to take Washington in points because I said it last week. Washington, they could be the Cinderella story.
Robert, what was your final answer? You gave us a convoluted answer. If and then.
No, he said
Well,
the
he hasn't
points.
picked yet.
No, I said if Montgomery plays, I'm looking to see if he's playing as we speak. I don't think he's going to play, and I'll take the points.
Okay.
Got it.
I think he's going to play. They interviewed him last week, or somebody interviewed him. He said, just see. You'll see.
Yeah.
I think he's going to play, but I don't know how effective he'll be coming off.
He has to be effective. This
Yeah.
for them at this point.
Yeah. All right, Adam.
I don't care whether David Montgomery plays or not. I don't care. It's not going to matter because the Commanders are going to win outright. I am fully on the cardiac Commanders train. We will keep the Lions out of the playoffs again.
So let me ask you this.
Out of the Super Bowl again.
You threw out there, Greg, everybody rooting for old Dan Campbell.
Yeah.
Now, Dan Campbell,
Kneecaps.
man, I like to drink a beer with him at the bar. I'm not sure I want him in charge of my team.
Yeah. I think those fourth down calls, I think it's going to come down to something like that. And again, they may still win, but I think there's going to be some. He's very aggressive. He's going to go for it on fourth down. There's things that we know they're going to do that I think are just going to bite them at some point.
But the Commanders are always in the game within the final minute. So
Yeah.
this is
Like
a
I
game
said,
that's
last 5 games.
correct. So this
Games
is a
decided
game
on the last play.
This is a game that says Dan Campbell will have to make a decision in this game that will probably leave you scratching your head. My biggest thing against Dan Campbell is he's a rah-rah guy. He's not an X's and O's guy. I think he loses his offensive coordinator and possibly his defensive coordinator this year,
To head coach?
which puts him all the way back at. You might as well be running a CCT.
A wing T.
No, you got to hire a coach because you don't have that kind of know-how. So
That's right.
I don't think they win this year, and I think once again it goes downhill.
All right, 2 more to go.
Far.
This game was a little bit of a surprise for me in terms of actually the next 2 games are a little bit surprised me in terms of the point spread. I thought I thought this one would be a little bit higher. Los Angeles getting 6 at Philadelphia. I'm all out Eagles covering.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
Yeah, I don't. They're not going to get 9 sacks against.
I agree with you. I like the way you feel about Kansas City. I hate the Eagles, but I just don't
Welcome to the
see-
club.
Yeah, I can't stand the Eagles. I hate picking the Eagles, but there's no way the Rams pull. I just don't think they can pull this off. Sean McVay is getting all the love of the hour, but I just don't see him being able to have the horses to be able to pull this thing out. So.
It's easy to get a lot of love when you win a lot of games.
Yeah, and that's true. No, that's a good point.
Oh, I hate the Eagles. The Rams aren't going to win this game, though. They looked really, really good against Minnesota, but Sam Darnold is going to Sam Darnold. I like this Rams team. They have Cooper Kupp, Matt Stafford, but it's Philadelphia, and I feel disgusting picking the Eagles, but I'm going to do it.
Yeah, you can't game plan.
Give me the Philadelphia Eagles
they
with
can't,
Saquon.
They can't game plan against that. That defense can't play the same way against the Eagles. Like
Yeah.
the Eagles have already busted them up one time on the ground. So
All right, Robert.
And I believe this actually was my pick when we go back. My pick for the Super Bowl is Buffalo, Philadelphia. As far as the spread, the Rams are 11-3 in the last 14 games.
Ooh.
They are a scary
Ooh.
team. And when you're looking at it, and I'm taking the Eagles already, so you can go ahead and write me down. But if ever there's somebody who should worry you, a veteran quarterback who you don't think is going to be bothered by the situation.
Sure.
And that is Mr.
Stafford.
Mr. Stafford.
Yep.
Somebody
All right.
should put money on the Rams.
All right.
I probably will.
So I'm a little very surprised at this spread. Baltimore giving up 1 in Buffalo. I think Baltimore and Buffalo played early in the year, and Baltimore won 35-10. Is that right? But that was in Baltimore.
In Baltimore, yeah.
Yeah. Boy, I know it's going to be cold in Orchard Park too.
Oh
What's
yeah.
your pick?
Not as cold as the other place.
So you're going Buffalo?
No, as much as I want to, I think this might be Lamar's year. I'd love to see Buffalo and Kansas City play again for the AFC Championship, but I think Baltimore's just do everything Derrick Henry's done this year. I'm pulling for Buffalo.
Yeah.
I want Buffalo to win,
Yeah.
but I got to go with the Ravens.
Yeah, same here. I think Baltimore's going to pull this out. I think this is going to be the game of the week, though.
No doubt about that.
This is going to be must-see TV, ladies and gentlemen. Like it is.
6:30 Sunday night.
Yeah, this is going to be great, but I think this is the year Baltimore pulls it off. I agree with you. I think they just have too much. I think, their defensive solid. I think, You know, the only wild card, I don't know, Robert, what's the weather look like? That might be the only.
It's cold.
Yeah.
It's cold, but it's
Cold and clear.
around 32.
Yeah.
You know, it could be a flurry or two, but
Yeah,
nothing.
so nothing that
blizzard.
really,
Correct.
benefits the Bills necessarily. So
And even then, does Baltimore
Yeah,
care? You know,
true.
it's not like
Yeah.
you're bringing Miami up
Yeah,
there for
that's
the
right.
game.
Adam,
Yeah, so-
quickly.
I have a policy on the show of never picking against Lamar. I'm going to keep that trend going. Ravens will go all the way to the Super Bowl, and it starts in Buffalo.
All right, Robert.
You know, we've been talking about it since the beginning of the year. Can these two, can you have this great of a run game with Lamar and Derek? And this is the game that they brought him in for. Forget about everything else. I'm taking the Bills, and I'm going to circle that same 31-10 game that happened earlier, or 35-10 game, and say that's the point that Buffalo turned its season around, and it can't help Baltimore this weekend, knowing that they already did that.
High of 24 on Sunday in Buffalo.
Balmy. That's what they call that up
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
That will be fun.
Not as bad as Monday.
Well, but they're playing Sunday, so we don't
Yeah.
care about Monday. All right.
And who's winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah, Greg, since you're not going to be back on before.
Well, that's.
You should be able to figure out who's in the games next week.
Yeah, I'm gonna ride Baltimore all the way.
Are you?
So I'm gonna take Baltimore all the way. I'm a huge Lamar Jackson fan, huge Derrick Henry fan. Like for the fanboy in me, like it's Baltimore's gonna. That's my pick.
Awesome. Well, I can't tell you how pleased we are to finally get you on the show, man.
Me too. I enjoyed it.
It
Thank
was
you
a lot
guys.
of fun. Thanks for coming
Hey,
on.
let's not let it be the last time.
Definitely
So,
not.
That'd be
Open
great.
door, brother. All right, guys, don't forget to take care of yourselves out there. Know your numbers. Get your ass checked. Cover your prostate. Or check your prostate and cover your ass. One of those. It's been a while.
It's important you
Man,
get
I
that
was
one
going to
right.
say something. It was going to be way worse
check
than
your
what you
prostate
said.
Yeah.
and cover your ass. That's what I got to say.
Make sure you read that one.
Yeah. All right, guys. Hey, boy, I've been doing this 3 years. First time I've ever messed it up. So, all right, guys. See you next week right here on Three Guys Who Love Sports. Thanks, man. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was great.